Moses reveals exactly how the Nephilim survived the flood. And trust me, 90% of people don't know this truth. But before we dive in, welcome to The Word of God Unveiled, where we peel back the layers of biblical history to uncover hidden truths and fascinating stories. If you enjoy our content, consider subscribing, and we'll keep bringing you engaging and enlightening videos. Today, we're going to explore how the Nephilim managed to survive the flood and return to Earth. Some believe a giant hit on the ark, or that another group of fallen angels sinned again to create new Nephilim. There are many theories, but today, we will uncover the true reason, as Moses directly reveals. Most people believe that Nephilim were still alive after the flood. For those unfamiliar, Nephilim, or giants, were the offspring of fallen angels and earthly women. The main reason God flooded the world in the book of Genesis was because of the Nephilim that were created. God stated in Genesis that the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of men and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. In the days of Jared, the fallen angels descended to earth and taught men many wicked things. The Bible states that even after the days of Jared, the Nephilim were still present after the flood. All the wickedness that occurred before the flood grieved God, as he saw that man's wickedness was great and that all the thoughts in their hearts were continually evil. When this happened, God declared, "I will destroy mankind, whom I have created, from the face of the earth, both man and animals, creatures that move along the ground, and birds of the air, for I am grieved that I have made them." Despite God's sorrow over humanity and the wickedness on earth, he still favored Noah. The Bible tells us that during a time of great wickedness and sin, when the fallen angels descended, Noah was the only delight to the Lord. Noah was the only truly righteous man living on earth at that time. When God saw that the earth was corrupt and full of violence, he instructed Noah to build an ark of gopher wood. After the ark was built and Noah brought his sons, their wives, and a pair of each animal, the book of Genesis states that every living thing that moved on the earth perished: birds, livestock, wild animals, and all creatures that swarmed over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living substance was wiped from the earth: men, animals, creatures that move along the ground, and the birds of the air. They were destroyed from the earth, and only Noah and those with him in the ark survived. There is no confusion in this verse. Genesis clearly states that everything on earth died and lived no more, except Noah, his sons, their wives, and the selected pairs of animals. Now you might be wondering, if everything died except Noah's pure generation, how did the Nephilim appear again on earth? Well, the truth is that most people believe the Nephilim returned because of this verse. Numbers 13:33 states, "We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we look the same to them." This statement was made when Moses sent 12 spies to explore the land of Canaan. These spies were sent to investigate the land that God had promised to the Israelites and bring back a report upon their return. 10 of the spies gave a discouraging report, stating that the land, while fertile, was inhabited by powerful people in fortified cities. They specifically mentioned the presence of the sons of Anak and described them as giants. But now the question is, where exactly did these giants come from? Where did the sons of Anak come from to occupy the land of Canaan? The first belief people have is that a previous giant, or Nephilim, managed to sneak onto the ark with Noah or cling to the edges of the ark. Well, let's find out if that's true. To understand this, let's go back to Genesis. The Bible states that after the flood, the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham is the father of Canaan. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them the whole earth was populated. Okay, let's hear that again. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them the whole earth was populated. All right, perfect. So the Bible states that after the flood, everyone who lived on earth came from Noah's generation, which were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. There were no secret giants who hid in the ark or clung to the sides of the ark to save their lives. The generation of Noah's sons was the only one, as we know from the Bible, that populated the world after the flood. This leads us to believe that one of Noah's sons or their wives may have given birth to a child who had the genetic mutation of the fallen angels, or one of the wives of Noah's sons had the genetic mutation of the fallen angels. I know some people think that the fallen angels didn't give birth to any female giants, but that's inaccurate. Most of the Bible doesn't mention the multiple women that the sons of God fathered. We know that Adam and Eve gave birth to many other children, including daughters, who weren't mentioned in the Bible. Either way, we know that there were no secret giants hidden in the ark, but there were giants living in the land of Canaan after the flood, and Goliath was a warrior for the Philistines. So how is this possible? Most people believe this was possible because another group of fallen angels desired human women after the flood, meaning a new group of fallen angels sinned against God once again to create a new group of Nephilim. However, the book of Enoch refutes this because it tells us about the severity of the judgment against the watchers who participated in descending and sharing earthly secrets with human women while they were in heaven. After God gave the judgment to the fallen angels, Michael said to Raphael, "The power of the Spirit transports me and makes me tremble because of the severity of the judgment of the secrets, the judgment of the angels, who can endure the severe judgment that has been executed and before which they melt away." Michael said again, "Who is he whose heart would not soften concerning this, and whose reins would not be troubled by this word of judgment that has been pronounced upon them because of those who led them out? I will not take their side under the Lord's watch, for the Lord of spirits is angry with them because they act as if they were the Lord. Therefore everything that is hidden will come upon them forever and ever, for neither angel nor man will have their part in it, but alone they have received their judgment forever and ever." With all this, Michael told Raphael that he felt afraid because of the severe judgment given to the angels. Michael basically said that he would not want to be in the position of the watchers, and that other angels would have to be extremely foolish to follow in the footsteps of the watchers. He even wondered who could endure such harsh punishment. Michael also said that no one could remain calm about this judgment because of those who led them astray. When Michael was before the Lord, he told Raphael that he would not defend the angels because the Lord was angry with them for acting as if they were God. Everything that is hidden will be revealed, and the angels and humans who sinned will face their judgment forever. So Michael made it clear that no angel would ever want to make the same mistake the watchers made, because they wouldn't want to face the eternal judgment that God gave to the watchers. So if all these theories are false, how did the Nephilim really survive the flood? There are two options. The first is through the generation of Ham and possibly Japheth. We know from Genesis that Noah had 3 sons who came out of the ark with him: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. These 3 sons are the ancestors of all the people on earth, according to the Bible, which states, "And the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham is the father of Canaan." These were the 3 sons of Noah, and from them the whole earth was populated. We know that sometime after the flood, when Noah's generation came out of the ark, Noah became drunk, and Ham, Noah's son, did something wrong, which will be discussed in another video. Because of this, Noah cursed Ham's generation. Noah didn't directly curse Ham, but specifically cursed Ham's generation, particularly Canaan. Noah declared, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." Did you know that most people believe that all of Ham's generation was cursed, and that's why black people are cursed? Ham wasn't cursed. There is no curse of Ham in Genesis 9 or anywhere else in the Bible. Canaan, not Ham, was cursed by Noah. This means that the biblical doctrine used to justify the enslavement of dark-skinned people is completely fabricated and has no exegetical basis. Okay, if you're learning something new, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get back to the video. Now let's take a look at Ham's generation. The Bible states that Ham's sons were Cush and Mizraim, who were Egyptians in the Bible, Put and Canaan. Just to remind you, after Ham did something in the tent, in the book of Genesis, Noah declared, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." Ham had several sons, but only Canaan was cursed. In the land of Canaan, apparently, giants lived. In Genesis 10, you will see all of Ham's generation. We know that the Canaanites came from Ham's generation, and they were cursed by Noah. We know that Nimrod came from Ham's generation, as did the Philistines and all the Egyptians. I won't list them all, but you get the idea. The descendants of Canaan spread from Sidon to Gerar, in the strip of Gaza, and as far as Sodom and Gomorrah. The sons of Canaan were Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites, and the Girgashites, and the Hivites, and the Archites, and the Sinites, and the Arvadites, and the Zemarites, and the Hamathites, and afterward the families of the Canaanites were scattered. All these are descendants of Canaan, who built nations and families for themselves. The same group of people continued to sin, committed the greatest sin, and also had giants mixed in their genetic bloodline. In Deuteronomy 7:1-2, God provided instructions to the Israelites as they prepared to enter the promised land of Canaan. God commanded the Israelites to completely destroy the Canaanite nations that inhabited the land, to prevent them from leading the Israelites into idolatry and immoral practices. This command was part of God's broader plan to establish a holy and faithful nation in the land he had promised to their ancestors. God declares, "But in the cities of these peoples that the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, you must not leave alive anything that breathes, but you must completely destroy them, the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, as the Lord your God has commanded you." He said again to the Israelites, "When the Lord your God brings you into the land you are entering to possess and drives out before you many nations, the Hittites, Girgashites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, 7 nations larger and stronger than you. And when the Lord your God has delivered them over to you, and you have defeated them, then you must destroy them totally. Make no treaty with them and show them no mercy." With all this said, we know that the sin of the fallen angels passed specifically through the generation of Canaan. For example, if we understand genetics, we know that there are dominant and recessive traits. If gigantism were a recessive trait within the genes of the Canaanites, as they continued to interbreed among themselves, sooner or later, a giant like Goliath would be produced, or the giants who lived in the land of Canaan. That's why God was trying to eliminate all the Canaanites and all of Canaan's generation. Does that make sense? No? Okay, let's break it down. Let's use blue and brown eyes as an example. Brown eyes will represent normal humans, while blue eyes will represent gigantism. Dominant traits like brown eyes or normal humans created by God appear if at least one person possesses the trait or the gene is present. Recessive traits like blue eyes or gigantism require 2 genes, one from each parent, to manifest. Recessive traits can stay hidden for generations, but can pop up by chance or reappear if 2 carriers have children. So with that said, if one person on Noah's Ark had a recessive trait for gigantism, like the fallen angels, most of their descendants might appear normal. However, if 2 carriers of the recessive trait had a child, there's a chance that child could be a giant, like Goliath. In essence, recessive traits can remain hidden for many generations and reappear when the right genetic combination occurs. This principle explains how characteristics, including physical traits like eye color, or even the potential for gigantism, can be passed down through generations and sometimes reemerge. Recessive traits like gigantism can grow even more if people are marrying within their own family, which we know at that time, people in the Bible had incestuous relations. According to the book of Jubilees, the book of Enoch, in the book of Jasher, there were many incestuous relations, even in the Bible. The book of Genesis tells us that Sarah was Abraham's sister. Genesis 20 states, "And indeed she is my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife." This verse shows that Sarah was Abraham's half-sister, sharing the same father, but having different mothers. They still married, so we can assume that even before Abraham and Sarah, this was something that occurred in the days of Adam, Jared, and Noah. This explains why the recessive traits of gigantism may have grown in the lineage of the Canaanites, because many of them were marrying within their own tribe. But we know that in Leviticus 18:9, God addressed this issue and declared to the Israelites, "You must not uncover the nakedness of your sister, either your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether born at home or elsewhere." Did you know that Goliath was part of Ham's generation? The Bible states, "And there came out from the camp of the Philistines a champion named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits in a span. And yet there was another battle at Gath, where there was a man of great stature who had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, 24 in number, and he also was descended from the giant. And when he defied Israel, Jonathan, son of Shimea, David's brother, killed him. These 4 were descended from the giant in Gath and fell by the hand of David and his servants. We know from Genesis that Ham's sons were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Mizraim was also known as Egypt, and Mizraim begot the Ludites, Anamites, Lehabites, Naphtuhites, Pathrusites, Caslahites, from whom the Philistines came. So the Philistines derived from Ham's generation. This can be found in Genesis 10. Now, if you're still a bit confused, feel free to review the video. It took me a few times to understand everything. The main point is that because the world was so corrupted, even though Noah was pure, his sons' wives may not have been. Ham had many sons, but his son Canaan may have had a recessive trait of gigantism that spread specifically through his lineage. That's why God wanted to eliminate the Canaanites, and Moses made this clear in the book of Genesis by consistently separating Canaan from Noah's generation. Moses wrote, "And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and told his 2 brothers who were outside. And the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham is the father of Canaan." Canaan was where most of the giants lived, and there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, who come from the giants. And we were like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so we were in their eyes. The Emim had lived there in times past, a people great, numerous, and as tall as the Anakites, who also were counted as giants like the Anakites, but the Moabites called them Emim. That's why God didn't want the Canaanites to continue living, nor did he want the Israelites to marry or have children with them. Deuteronomy 7 declared, "You shall not intermarry with them, you shall not give your daughters to their sons, nor take their daughters for your sons." Our promise to you, for taking the time to like, comment, and share, is to bring you the highest quality videos with multiple secrets. Remember that this channel focuses not only on the Bible, but also on all of God's stories, the Ethiopian Bible, and the Apocrypha.